YouTube. I'm not going to get paid this. No, that's not stress-free to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I totally agree. Hey, I'm going to tell you my biggest fear as an RVer in terms of inconvenience. When I jump in this RV and I'm fully insured, I got 2 million liability, fire, theft, vandalism. I got a small $300 deductible, and even if the whole thing burned to the ground, I'd get a big check.
Yeah.
So I'm covered. But if I'm driving, let's say I jump in this thing and I 2 days from now I'm in Santa Barbara and a guy smokes me. The reason I say Santa Barbara because I actually was on Pacific Coast Highway or Highway 101 and I saw an RV completely totaled. The sidewall was ripped open and it was written off. And if that happened to me, I know I'm going to get a check, but all my stuff in there, my dog, everything, I got to ship my dog back, air freight back to Canada. I got to pick all my crap up, put it in boxes, get a U-Haul, get it back to Canada, and then I got to deal with the insurance company. It's a complete pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
And, I dread when it happens to some other people, and it could happen to me. But I know about it going in, and that's why I like to believe in insurance policies, including, I got the AAA roadside assistance. If I got a flat, I don't pick up. I pick up two things. I pick up a phone, and I pick up a beer, and they come and they take care of it. I like that. But without dropping names, there are some very big YouTubers out there that have minimum liability with $30,000-$50,000. So if they hit somebody, they're bankrupt.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand. And you know what? If I put your ass in a wheelchair, I expect my insurance company to give you $1 million or $2 million to square you up, and we just move on as friends. That's the way I think about things.
Most definitely, man. Yeah, you got to be smart about it, and I think that's the problem with a lot of the younger. I mean, most of the people that are out that. I always say that they put in their time, they served their term, the kids are grown, they made sure they all made it to they kept them alive, now they're on their own, and now it's time for me to go do whatever the hell I want, and I want to go in an RV and go see shit. And those guys, more power to them, but the younger ones that want to say, I don't want to working, if I can talk to a camera and drive around in my van or my RV or whatever, that's what I'm going to do. They're the ones that I worry about. I'm not jealous, and but they're the ones that I worry about because of the reasons why we talked about earlier. They don't have a pension. When they get old, they're going to be stuck. They don't have their stuff insured. So if they do lose their van in a crash, they lost their home and everything they own, and now they're really in deep shit,
Yeah. Well, my advice, again, for the young people is to serve your country. Whatever country that you are in, there's a way to serve your country. You can join the military. Even I did a brief stint in the military, and you can leverage that into a government job somewhere, and you can get a pension. You can transfer around with your job, different departments, different cities, see the world while they pay you, and you earn a pension. And make sure you pick an agency that you can retire early. Then you start pulling that money out. You can continue on seeing the world in an RV. Everything's taken care of. Got no problems. That's my advice. And what's wrong with serving your country?
Yeah.
Some people don't want to serve their country.
That word government attached to it, and they're anti-government and anything. Well, we won't get into that here. But
right. No, but let's face it. Government isn't all about political stuff. There are government workers that do important things.
Yes.
That have nothing to do with politics. And there's jobs available doing that.
You're right. There is a lot of things, and people just don't understand that, without government, we have infrastructure that needs taken care of. And, you don't get out in front of your house and fix your sidewalk and fix that little piece of street in front of your house. And, no, somebody does that and it's all governed. And we won't get into that. Come on. Damn you. Anyway. Now you talked about you do the boondocking and the 1,000 trails and all that stuff, and you do the split it up between campsites and everything, and which I think is smart and fun. But what do you think of the ones that they're living the good life, living from Walmart parking lot to Walmart parking lot? I mean, are they See, to me, they're more homeless people than they are RVers or travelers or adventurers. They're just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad. Okay, you know what? Around here, there's a couple WalMarts that'll allow it. There's one in Chilliwack. It's just about an hour out of Vancouver. There's one in Port Coquitlam. I've stayed at those ones one night at a time. That's it, and I don't abuse it. And I've stayed at Walmart in Phoenix. I've stayed at one in Eureka, California. You know, there's a handful of places that I've used that for one night, usually about 8 to 12 hours, and that's it, and I'm gone. But even up here in Canada, there at that Chilliwack Walmart, there was a couple that dropped their trailer, took it off the hitch, and they lived there for months. And they had their patio furniture out, they had their barbecue out, and they were homesteading. They weren't RVers.
Yeah.
They were homesteaders, and they completely ruined it for other people, because now you gotta. You're not really that welcome there anymore because of that.
And it's sad because it was a great place. I mean, you're traveling from point A to point B. I've been driving. I'm tired. I just want to stop and rest and get something to eat. Hey, Walmart's there to pull in and do just that and then hit the road. But these people, that I think, to ruin it for everyone when they, like you said, they pull up and the jacks are down, the awning's out, the barbecue's fired up, and
it's crazy shit, man. It's and that's a private company, and they have every right to say no, because their job isn't to be a welfare program for people to live. That's not their job.
Right.
And I don't blame them for kicking these people out, and it ruins it for the people that won't abuse it. But it's like anything else. Anything that's free in life gets abused.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to. I'm almost thinking that we should create a little card that we sell and we donate the money to charity, and the card will just say, "I am a responsible Walmart parker," and you put it in your in the window of your RV, and in the card it says, "I pledge to only be here 12 hours and never return for at least 1 month."
That's right. And I will go in and buy something.
I will buy something. I promise a minimum $20 purchase.
Yes. Oh my
you're
God.
not just gonna in there and buy, a big bottle of beer and then go out and consider you did your duty.
Yeah. As you piss in the parking lot. Oh.
That's right. Yeah.
Now there's a little debate going on about amongst the RVers and us sticks and bricks people about the condition of some of the like camping places, and not even literal camp places, but the little out of the way places where you go and you find tucked away that you can park and everything. And it seems to be that the RVers say, well, no, it's the local kids who come and party and trash the place, and it's the locals, it's not us. And then other people say, well, it's all these RVers that find this place, and then they put it on YouTube and say, here's the GPS coordinates, and now more people are going there and they're doing their thing and leaving trash. I personally think it's probably a combination of both, but I know when I was a kid, we always tried to clean up, and if the cops came and we were underage drinking, they were looking around going, they weren't worried about us drinking, they were looking for litter when we were in places like that. So we kind of minded our own. Do you think it's a combination, one or the other, because all the finger pointing that's going on?
Well, it's definitely a combination. But I will advocate that all YouTubers and bloggers out there, when they find a really good place, they should talk about it and don't say where it's at, and call it like I have, my undisclosed location. And because I almost think that these really good places need to be protected for only the people that know about them. And
I agree.
So it's not love to death. It's it's like my dog. My dog loves me, and I can give my dog a hug. But if I hug my dog 24 hours a day, my dog will start biting me. So you can't love something. You love something to the point where you kill it, and
Yes.
you can kill these campgrounds and all these great parks that are wonderful, just like national parks. Don't go to Yellowstone in the summer. It's loved to death. It's just crazy with people. But can you imagine if Yellowstone wasn't publicized so much, and you got to go there in July when there was only 800 people there?
Oh,
Wouldn't that be a wonderful place to be?
Yes, for sure. For
You haven't
sure.
unheard.
What do you think about the folks that are free, independent, off the grid, disconnected? I don't need anything. I'm out, but have more gadgets than I have. They got 17 antennas and Wi-Fi boosters and this, and they have to stay connected. They got more gizmos and gadgets, but they're off the grid and living free and disconnected from everything. Isn't that a little bit kind of contradictory?
Well, there's a myth with survivalism and off-grid living that you don't need anybody. The reality is you absolutely need everybody else because you need the grocery guy to be there when you buy the groceries. You need the guy that runs the truck to ship all that crap that you buy and you put in your RV. So he's got to have a job. The guy that builds the solar panels, he's got to have a job because he's selling you panels. So everybody's working their butt off to create products and services that you will consume while you're pretending to be off grid and not needing anybody. So it's a bit of a myth because unless, like here I'm in Canada, I literally could walk in the forest about 10 miles from here. I could keep going through the forest and only cross about 4 roads between here and the North Pole. Literally 4 roads that would cross due north. And if I stopped at 300 miles in the bush and lived there, eating animals, wearing bear skin, and building my own fires, now that's off grid because I don't need anybody. I don't need a grocery store. I don't need a truck driver to build my panels. I don't need anything. I'm literally living as the indigenous people did here for 50,000 years. Now, that's real off-grid living, but I don't see anybody doing that because they just don't want to do that. But it's possible, and it's been proven because the indigenous people did it for thousands of years, long before Columbus came here. So that's my 2 cents on
Well,
that.
thank you. I'm just glad somebody else said it because I just think it's funny that people that rely on YouTube for their income say that they're off grid and they're disconnected, but without that internet connection, yeah, how you getting paid? Where are they wiring that money to? And how does it, carrier pigeon?
Yeah, the bank's doing all this shit. All these people are going to jobs so that you can pretend that you don't need them, but you actually do need them.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It is hilarious.
Yeah, it's a myth.
Now, speaking of hilarious, I find you to be very hilarious. Were you always a funny dude? Were you that guy? Were you a class clown or the ones all your friends said, hey, you're funny as shit?
I kind of I got funnier over the years because I read more and spent more time. Historical people like Mark Twain. He was a shit disturber in his time, and I love reading about people like that challenge the norms and look at what's going on around me, and I have the courage to speak my mind. And I kind of I like doing that. Now I'm more funnier in person when I can have a dialogue. I'm not a stand-up comedian by any stretch. I could never do that. But
right.
On your live on Thursday, there's times where I throw in a zinger in there occasionally. Then I get you and the Unabassist going, and I kind of enjoy that because there's an exchange going on, and I'm funnier at that than just putting the camera in front of me while I'm all alone in the bush somewhere. I can't really nail some zingers that way because I'm not working off an audience or anything, right?
I understand. I think it's funny because to me, you're a very intelligent person also. And I know a lot of times I'll read a comment, that you wrote down and it's funny as shit. And then I can just see the blank stares of some people as they leave comments underneath because you're just, you incorporate your intelligence with your humor and it just goes over so many people's heads. And that's what I even think is even funnier.
Well, I use metaphor and the double entendre.
Yes.
So I'll say something that has 2 or 3 meanings, and I'll try to project it in an innocent fashion so that even if somebody complains, they go, whoa, you're obviously taking it the wrong way because you can take this any way you want, man, and you're obviously a sick person because you took it the ugly way.
That's right. All right. So do you watch other YouTubers? I mean, do you watch like a bunch of RVers? Do you watch all kinds of shit or?
Watch everything.
Everything?
But I can't keep up with all the nomads. That's the thing. Some of them they upload too much, so I've had to unsubscribe. Not because I don't watch them, I still watch them, but I can't keep up with the feed.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I probably, I'd still say 70% of what I watch has nothing to do with the RV life at all. Like I like watching educational programs. Largely, I like I like things where I can learn something.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with RVing, because I am an RVer, and I don't need the choir preaching to me all the time.
Right.
So, but I watch them all. You name an RVer, and I guarantee you I've watched them recently.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way. I mean, people always assume because I talk about the RVers a lot that that's all I watch, but no, that's not the case. What is your take on all these people like you just kind of brought up that have to do the daily vlog? I have to have one out every day. I mean,
they're chasing money, obviously.
But are they chasing people away like you? Like you just said, I don't have time to watch everybody every day. I have shit to do.
Yeah, and I have enough money from different sources that I don't, I don't want YouTube to rule me. I want to get more out of YouTube than it gets out of me. And the fact that people do it every day, it's usually a compulsion to chase content. And if it's done too much, you can tell the content actually can suffer, because it's just, people have an idea, a nugget of an idea for a video that could actually be good, and it can be said in 3 minutes, but it's stretched to 15.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. I can't invest 5 times more of my time when you can't just get to the point, and they're doing it just for the ad revenue, and it's kind of tragic. And somebody, the Woo, Adam the Woo, for example, somebody did a documentary on him who spent time around him, and the one thing I took about Adam the Woo from this person that spent time with him was that he invests so much time and emotion to do that daily thing that he isn't really even enjoying what's around him. He's just chasing content. And I've learned the hard way. I'll give you a personal example. When I was in France and Germany about a year and a half ago, I put a few videos up, but it was not the focus of why I was in Europe. I was doing Europe on $500 a day. Okay, so my job is for me to enjoy my retirement trip to Europe, and it's damn expensive. My job isn't to be spending hours with a stupid camera feeding other people's needs when I have invested a lot of time, money, and effort to be there. And you'd be damn thankful that I gave you any videos, because I'm here for me. I'm not here to feed the content kitty. And I don't want to be so focused on the stupid camera. I want to be there. When I'm there, I want to smell what's going on. I want to feel the dirt under my feet. I'm there for me. And quite often, I've learned when I'm doing something and I reach for the camera and I go, this might make a good video. And I have a conversation with myself and I go, Andrew, put the camera down. This is for you to enjoy. Who cares about YouTube and content? It's about you. You've got one life to live and one chance to do it. And that's my take on that. And you can tell that when I'm somewhere and I could put more effort into a video when I could care less, because I'm there for me.
Yeah, I watch videos a lot, and I think pretty much what you just said. I'm like, I appreciate you taking the time to share this, whatever it is, tree, mountain, whatever it is. I appreciate you taking the time to share that with me. And especially as a visually impaired person, cool, you're sharing that with me and I get to see it through your eyes. But did you see it, or did you see just what was through that lens? Why don't you put that damn thing down? You don't have to show me that you went to Walmart and you bought this, and now you're at a restaurant, you're eating a burger, and now you're walking back to your RV, and now you're going to go take a picture. I don't need to see all that. Put your damn camera down and enjoy that shit too. Thanks for sharing, but why don't you enjoy it too?
I was at Best Buy yesterday, and I hit a couple restaurants the day before. I didn't put any of that shit up. And some of these places I really like, and they, I could probably do a great review. And, there's certain restaurants that are only available here in Western Canada. But I can't be bothered. I'm there for me.
Yeah.
I'm paying that's the difference. I'm paying to be there. I'm not expecting the viewers to pay me to be there.
Right.
that's kind of the fundamental difference. I have the luxury of not having to chase content. I have the luxury of not having to feed the content kitty.
Well, I think it's a lot different when you have so many irons in the fire, so to speak, that you make some ad revenue. That's awesome. But if you don't, if YouTube went away tomorrow, so what? Who cares? Well, there's too many people that, oh my God, I got to make a video. I have to put one up today. I don't have anything to say, but I have to put a video out today.
Right.
And it shows that you don't have any shit to say.
It does show. Yeah, it does show. Absolutely. And I thankfully I got a lot of close friends that don't want a camera in their face, and good for them. And just like you don't show your family, and I respect that because, right. I'm sure you have wonderful family members that might be quite interesting to see on camera, but at the same time, they have a right to their own personal life, and we don't need to exploit it. Even my dog, people say, why don't you put the Sammy the Pooper up on the video? She gets a little snippets and cameos, but I don't exploit my own damn dog because I think that even she's a dog and has a right to her own privacy, and she's not even human.
I was just telling the Unabassist has a cat, and I was just telling him the other day, I was like, dude, I got to borrow your cat because everybody else has a damn pet, and I think I need more views. I need to borrow your cat. Can I rent your cat?
Well, you just need a stripper girlfriend, and you need a cat, and you need controversy. Just those three. You need a stripper girlfriend, the cat, and some controversy, and you're gold.
That's it. Screw your opinion. Nobody cares about that shit. We need skin and cats or pets or something.
Right. You got to go full Wanderbus.
Yeah, I love that stuff. We live full time in our little bus. No, you don't. You live in a damn condo somewhere. That thing is pristine.
Your mom's condo in Los Angeles.
Yeah, funny stuff.
Well, Dave 2D and me, we've both talked about them, and the funniest thing that happened. We'll talk about Wanderbus because I've actually never met them, so I don't consider them a friend, but I don't hate them. They're just peculiar young people trying to do everything and tick every box to try and get views. And well, when me and Dave 2D started talking about them and commenting on their channel, they toned down the TNA for a while, and then their views dropped. And it got to the point where I actually messaged Wanderbus and said, look, your views are down. You got to go back to your roots. And your roots are TNA.
That's right.
And so they got back to their roots now. So they're back to the roots, and the channel's picking up steam again.
Oh, yeah. I just watched Dave 2D's not too long ago where he was doing a review where she was waking up in bed topless and doing the little side boob shot and all that. I was like, oh, yeah. They're back. They're back.
You're back. That's right. Yeah, they're funny kids, and it's I don't know what the future holds for them because their other interviews like they've done on Vice, for example, it shows a more candid perspective that's less curated, and let's face it, their content is highly curated, and to be fair, all YouTubers, including myself, we curate our content. I many times eliminate things that are too controversial if it's not required, or things that might be perceived as overtly hateful when it's not necessary, or it shows violates other people's privacy. There's all these considerations, even things that even might not make me look in a decent fashion. So all YouTubers curate their content to present things in a more palatable fashion, but Wanderbus definitely curates to the point of ticking all the boxes for maximum potential viewership with sex and drama and things like that. And it's not real. And anybody who thinks it's real, you're smoking the strong stuff.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, let's face it, when you come down to it, YouTube is a young person's game to be really popular. If you ain't getting the tweens and the teenies and the beautiful 20s, you don't have anybody,
Right. Yeah. And I'm getting comments that, you're just jealous. And then people forget, don't you realize that I was 20 years old once and looked great naked and had a 27-inch waist? And people forget that us old people were young ones.
Exactly.
And it's not that we were jealous. I'm not jealous of the young people. I got more money now that I'm older, and I got more common sense. So I wouldn't trade places in a goddamn minute with these people.
And I tell them all the time. And if you're lucky, real lucky, someday you too will be old. But with your mental state, you might not make it that long.
Well, you know the alternative to growing old, right? The
Yes.
alternative to growing old is called death.
Death.
So growing old is the more palatable alternative.
That is true. That is true. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have, except for my stupid ones that I ask everybody at the end, and you are no exception, my friend. You're getting my dumb questions.
Okay.
And they are. The first one is, do you have a favorite band or song? One of those
Oh,
go-to songs?
You know what? It's I like too much to put myself in a box like that. I ABBA to Zappa. Okay, I like everything. It's a question of dosage. I've gone to symphonies, and I like that. But I can't do that every day. Just like I like Van Halen, but I can't listen to Van Halen every day.
I agree.
You know,
I'm like that too. When you ask me, what's your favorite band? I was like, oh, that's like, what's your favorite kid? Same thing. A lot of people have the same answer. Is there any genre that you don't care for? Like me, I'm not a big country music fan. Just about anything else I tolerate. I'm not a big country music fan.
What? Extremely open-minded when it comes to music. I like every form. The exception might be opera that's not in my language. When you're screaming at La Scala in Italy and screaming a song in a language I have no idea what you're saying, that's where I draw the line. Okay, but I do like Latin music. I like I spent a lot of time in Cuba over the years. And sneak preview viewers, there may be a trip in Cuba in the fall in the works. So I'll throw that out there. So I like Latin music. Even when I was in Germany a year and a half ago, there was this hit song that kept playing on the radio that drove me crazy. As soon as I got home, I had to download it and figure it out. Completely in German. I had no idea what the guy was, but I was singing along in German. So I'm really, really open-minded.
That's
when
cool.
It comes to music.
Do you have a favorite movie? One of those movies that you could watch over and over again, never gets old.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Awesome. Mine's Apocalypse Now. I love that movie.
Of course, we've all seen it, but a little, I like to plug Canadian culture because we get forgotten about. But the voice of Hal in 2001 was a Canadian.
Nice.
So absolutely Canadian. Same with that. Remember Max Headroom? Go Catch the Wave.
Oh yeah,
that guy?
Definitely.
So there's a lot of these obscure Canadian cultural things that are in American media, but 2001, there's something. It hits all the things. It's metaphor, it's art, it's religious even. It's many things.
Yeah.
And it speaks to so many things on so many levels, and is an absolutely a non-digital work of art because it was done before the digital age. So
yes.
I really dig it.
Well, that was a very good choice. Now we got the beach or mountains.
Oh boy, it's slightly weighed towards beach.
Slightly, okay.
It's when we're talking beach, we're talking tropical beach. We're talking
right.
Kauai. We're talking North Shore Oahu, North Shore Maui. That kind of beach.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, most RVers answer this one way, but city or country?
I'm suburban, so I'm right on the border, man.
Right
I like them both. It's kind of like the John Cougar Mellencamp, about the big town. I ain't got enough big town, but I'm comfortable in both. I can be in a big city and feel comfortable, and I can be in the country. But at the same time, I like to be close to the big city, but not in it all the time because I've done that.
Yeah, that's me. I like the convenience of I don't want to drive an hour to go to the store, but I don't have to be in walking distance either. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And I've lived in the high rises. Vancouver's got a lot of high rises, so I know what it's like to live stacked up in the air. So
yeah.
I've done that, man.
Now I know you. Wow, you've been pretty much a lot of places. So is there anywhere that you didn't go that you would really want to go? Any place in the world you could go, where would it be?
Yeah, it's a couple places that I probably will go in the next 1 to 5 years. There's a few places. I can't pin it to one, but it's Australia, New Zealand is on that list, and that's a definite possibility. But in terms of really obscure, out of the way, I'd like to go to Rapa Nui, or as everybody calls it, Easter Island. You know,
Yeah.
it's part of Chile.
Yep.
So I'd like to do that. And if I was going to go down there, I would probably catch the Air Tahiti once a week flight and head to Tahiti. But Tahiti is very expensive. So I don't know if I make it there. I might just make it to Easter Island for a week or something. I'd love to just spend a little time there. It's one of the most remote islands in the world, and it's not that tough to get to.
Yeah.
So you just flight through Santiago and 6 hours over the ocean, and you're there. So that's kind of the bucket list. You know, I've been to Japan, I've been to Indonesia, I rented an apartment in Costa Rica, I've been to Mexico many times, been to Alaska. I grew up in the Yukon in the far north, so Alaska isn't exotic for me because I grew up there. Actually, my first McDonald's I ever went to, drove from Whitehorse, Yukon, all the way to Anchorage for 500 miles to have my first McDonald's in the 70s, and it was like the biggest thing in my life. Because we didn't have McDonald's in the Yukon as a kid. But so, Hawaii, I go there a lot. I usually go once a year, sometimes twice. Where I've been to England, I've been to Europe, Cuba a lot. Been to Cuba a lot, spent many Christmases there. So I've kind of, seen a few things.
Yeah. Well, I noticed when I mentioned my son just moved to New Zealand, I know you said you were planning a trip there and we're getting ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, in the fall. I'm this close. I found a cheap flight to Sydney for like $650 just the other day, but it's on the crappiest Chinese airline that I got to go through Shanghai, and then I'm afraid that they're going to change the flight schedule by the time So it'd be 48 hours of hell through Shanghai, but I'm going to save a lot of money. So I'm kind of up in the air whether I want to book that just yet or not. So nothing against Shanghai. Shanghai will be interesting.
Yeah,
but
this one's going to be. I'm really interested in hearing the answer to this one. One person, dead or alive, that you could sit down with and spend a day with. Who would that be?
Oh God, it's got to be Mark Twain. It's got to be Mark Twain.
Got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. Man, there's just no question. For dead contemporary. I mean, I could name some obscure people, like having lunch with Hitler. That's probably going to be interesting, especially because I am German.
Yeah.
But that would be more amusing than enriching of an experience. So I'd have to say something like Mark Twain. There's something about the man that Thomas Jefferson would be an interesting pick too. If people didn't know what Jefferson wrote about, more people would actually be reading what he spoke about today with things that are going on in America. So
I was always one of mine would be Ben Franklin, because all the little sayings that we use and so many things that we do and have that guy was pretty amazing to me.
Hey, I learned a lot about Ben Franklin when I spent time in Philadelphia, and because everywhere, even the old that beautiful City Hall in downtown Philadelphia. I don't know if you've ever been there and seen it.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's like 2 hours for me.
Yeah, well, you got the William Penn statue at the top, but everywhere you go around Philly, there's just so many Ben Franklin references and tributes to the guy. And, like even the bridge, the Ben Franklin Bridge, for example.
For sure.
So I learned a lot about him. Interesting guy. He did things a lot different than we expected. He wasn't a button-up, tight conservative. He did a lot of crazy things, which I kind of admire.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. If there was one thing that you could change about yourself, anything, what would it be?
Well, the only thing I really want to change would be time. I wish I could have more time on Earth to do more things. It's the only precious commodity we can't buy.
Yeah, that is true. Very good. Very good.
Shit nowadays, but I can't buy time. I'd probably want to crank the clock back to 32.
Yeah.
crank it back to 30, because then I'd be just smart enough that I wouldn't be stupid. And, yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
so that'd be 20 years or so. Yeah, like crank it back 20 years.
That's awesome. All right. One food. You're stuck somewhere and you can have an endless supply of one food. That's all you're going to eat forever. One food.
It can't be pussy, right?
No, it has to be actually food.
There's no low nutritional count in that. It's gonna. You can edit that out if you have to. It's got to be pizza because there's so many different toppings.
There
right?
you go. See, man, that's me, man. Pizza. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. The last one, and this is the good one.
Oh. Okay.
I ask it for both genders too. Do you have a man crush?
Oh boy.
I mean, if you don't, you don't. But I mean, I think everybody has that one. Like, if I was, it would be that guy. Or the girls do the same. You know, if I was, it would be her.
Oh gee, no, I don't. But there's a ton of men out there that you look at them and you go, hey, that's a cute guy, but he just doesn't do it for me.
Right. I got you.
Well, I'm not afraid to acknowledge a pretty bird out there, but but it doesn't mean I'm going to change hockey teams on you.
No,
you know what I mean?
It wasn't going that far. It was just. I mean, I'll tell you. I'll fess up. Mine's Ryan Reynolds. I think he's a handsome man. I like his work. It's funny.
He's Canadian.
He's my man crush.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
See?
Okay, well, in terms of good-looking Canadian men out there, there's we got some of the women love Michael Bublé. He lives here in not far from me, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people are Bublé fans. You got that right.
Yeah, I've actually seen him in concert in Vancouver a few times because my ex, who's now deceased, she was a big fan and she knew the family. And actually, a small little secret, I go to the same doctor as the Bublé family.
Wow.
So it's Canada. It's a small world, right? So
you Canadians do know all. You all do know each other. Then Canadians do.
Well, usually you can connect most Canadians by three common friends or associates or something.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, and then of course you got Justin Bieber. You guys are looking after him in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we're babysitting him for you guys.
We take Canada as a nation thanks you for your service.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we would pay you guys to take back.
Well, yeah, you probably would, but we're not too eager.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Canadian, we're not proud of exclaiming. If you say Alex Trebek, Canadian, Lorne Michaels from Saturday Night Live, Canadian, we like that. John Candy, Canadian. But when it comes to Justin Bieber, we don't exclaim the proudness of him being Canadian.
Yeah, that's that under your breath. Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Wasn't our fault he was born here.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. But I will end it this way. Now, when I first started doing this and I got my stuff together, somebody left me a comment, and then I got piled on. But they left me a comment that says, I really like your voice. You have a very calm, sexy voice, but you're no Linescrew1.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, I guess I have to use my deep radio voice to say thank you very much, whoever did that. And if you're an attractive lady, please private message me and show me a picture of your RV.
So, all I can think of is whoever this is and their followers who piled on. We're gonna have to wring out some panties after this one, buddy.
I'll bring my road mic so I sound even better.
There you go. All right, man. Well, I want to thank Linescrew for taking the time to hang out with me today and answer all my dumbass questions and listen to my nonsense. I had a great time. I hope he did. This is BlindViews, and that's the way we see it.
What we do here is go back.